Hi you guys, I hope that you are all doing well. I wanted to do this video today because I've been thinking about it for a while and I thought it'd be nice just to sit down and talk with you guys, have like a little bit more of a casual format than usual. These are the kind of videos that I've just been gravitating towards with myself, like watching, so I thought you guys might enjoy it. And I also think it's always really interesting to see like what people treasure within their own homes. And I was thinking about this last night that like I don't think I even have like one particular style in my house. It just feels like very eclectic, but I still really enjoy looking at interiors, picking out stuff for the home, like rearranging. Jared is gonna kill me if I ask him to rearrange another room, but I just think it's really fun to kind of freshen up a space. And I wanted to share with you guys a few of my favorite things that I have in our house currently. I feel like every place that we've moved, there's been certain elements that I absolutely love, from like my college apartment, which had a balcony that overlooked these like giant fields and I got to watch sunsets on it, to, you know, the first place that Jared and I moved into, which just had so much charm, having a fireplace for the first time. And then we moved again to San Francisco and had these like gorgeous bay windows in the apartment, even though it was a micro apartment. It was probably like 400 square feet for the two of us and we were paying an astronomical amount of rent, but it was perfect. Like you walk in and you feel like you're home. And then now this like kind of temporary living situation that we moved into at the beginning of the pandemic that has turned into a much more long-term solution that we've kind of like found home again in. And it was interesting because I think this place felt like it took the longest to feel like home. I think maybe because we were looking at it as such like a transition spot, and like it was kind of partly furnished when we moved in because it had been rented out previously, and then like slowly we've like helped either sell or give away that furniture and have moved all of our stuff in and have like purchased new pieces that go in here, and again done a lot of rearranging, but it does feel like home again, and I think that's a really important feeling for me to have. So with that being said, I thought I would share with you guys a few items and spots in our home that are my favorites right now, and it definitely changes based on the season and the lighting and you know, the time of day, but there are certain things in our home that I just absolutely love and make me feel like it's ours, and yeah, that we're just like settled and happy. So I wanted to go through those with you guys, and I also want to hear what those spots are, what those items are for you, so make sure to let me know at the end of this video down in the comments below. What are some like spots in your home? What are some things in your home that you hold really dear? Okay, so the first area that I want to talk about is the smallest area in my house. It's kind of like our coffee and tea area, and I think I love this more so because of the ritual than anything else. I am someone who's drinking like hot water all throughout the day, matchas in the morning, I like English breakfast tea, I like coffee, and we have this little corner in our kitchen where I have all of that supplies, and sometimes it can feel like a little crowded and chaotic, and I often feel like I still want to work on the organization system of it, but this area just brings so much joy and lots of caffeine into my life. I really like having everything displayed, and you know, I have these like little tins that I picked up from Hey Design that I absolutely love. I feel like having pops of color here and there in your house is really nice. I've been kind of slowly painting the whole house white, so the kitchen still has to be done, but there is like white tile, there's like a white faux marble surface, and so there is a lot of white in the kitchen, and so adding little pops of color I think always make it feel really fun, and those tins definitely do that for me. Everything kind of has its own little spot, even if it looks a bit crowded. I know where everything is, I can easily reach for things, and just in the morning after I say like my hellos to everyone, that's usually the first place that I go, and I turn on the hot water, heat some water up, and then I just kind of like stand there and have kind of my wake up moment for the day, I guess. So that area to me is always super peaceful because when I wake up in the morning it's obviously quite quiet, and yeah, it's just like a moment to pause and reflect and get ready for the day and just kind of wake up. We've also really grown to love a lot of the corks in every space that we've been in. We've lived in like older places, they've definitely been updated, but they have this like old charm or character to them, and One area in this house that has a little bit of that is the kitchen. It has a pull-out cutting board, which we actually had previously. We have it in San Francisco or the house before. Anyway, we have this cutting board that you pull out from the cabinet. You don't really see this very often in kitchens nowadays. One, it's highly functional because the kitchen that we have now is relatively small and there's not a ton of like usable counter space. So we use this all the time. We're constantly using it. We don't actually cut on it because it's a pain to clean, but we use it for like staging plates. We use it for putting cutting boards on top of and cutting, and it's just super handy and useful. And I don't know why they don't make kitchens like this anymore, or why they don't include it. It's like a feature that in a lot of the houses that we've been looking at, we've noticed they have, because we're obviously looking at older houses, and it's just something I really love. There's something very charming about it, and I feel like it's such a great example of when every little spot in an area is utilized, and I feel like that's something in like more modern design that has kind of been lost. The utility of it and the function of it, and the fact that like they took advantage of that little crevice to have this pull-out cutting board, it just makes me feel really satisfied, and again, it's just so functional. So it's something that I absolutely love. I wish that we'd bring back into kitchen design, and it always makes me happy to use. Next up, if you will follow me to our little dining area, which I have to be honest, we don't really use that much. We tend to sit on the floor, like at the base of our couch. That's where we like eat a lot of our meals. But we do have this tiny little dining table that has had so many lives to it, I can't even begin to tell you. That's very much besides the point. The piece that I wanted to actually talk about is the chest, which is a newer addition, and it's something that we had in our garage for a while. I think I mentioned Jared's dad and his stepmom actually moved, and so they had to do a big clean out of all of Jared's stuff, and that was really interesting, you know, like having to go through kind of like all your childhood stuff that your parents have saved, and then also trying to figure out, okay, like where are we going to put all the stuff that we do want to keep. And one of the items was a chest, and for a long time, like I said, it sat in our garage, and then we brought it in because we needed somewhere to put TV on top of when we got a new TV, just while we were like kind of staging everything. So we carried it in. It's super heavy. And then I had my parents over for dinner, and my mom had suggested, why don't you use this as additional seating by your dining table so that you can still keep it out. It doesn't have to be in the garage. You can actually use it. And so we moved it to the back area behind the table underneath the stairs. And now we use it to kind of sit on as a bench, and it's really deep. In fact, my legs actually dangle a little bit on it, and it's a bit too tall, but it fits in so perfectly there, and it just has like a really nice vibe to it. It was a trunk that was actually Jared's great grandmother's that was handed down to his grandmother, then handed down to his mom, and then handed down to him. I feel like it has a lot of good like feelings and energy, and it's just nice to have it out. Right now we just have like a cloth over it, but ideally I'd like to get a cushion or something to protect the top of it, because like I said, it's really beautiful wood. It also weighs like 400 pounds, so it's so heavy to move around, but it's really beautiful wood, and I don't want it to get scratched or tarnished where it is. So that has been like a nice piece that we've been able to repurpose to be functional so that it doesn't just sit and collect dust. Next up is, if you follow me up the stairs into our bedroom, is my vanity table. And I don't know why this feels so special to me. It's not a particularly expensive piece. I've had it for years and years. It's actually just a computer desk from IKEA and some office drawers. But there's something about a vanity table I've always wanted. And it's weird too, because I never saw like my mom sitting at a vanity table. She always did her makeup in the bathroom. So I don't really know where this idea came from of having a vanity or a dressing table or whatever you want to call it. But for whatever reason, as soon as I was able to like afford my own furniture, I wanted a vanity, and here it is. This is probably like the second iteration. I think I had another IKEA desk before that has since moved on to a new home. This one has stuck with me no matter where we've been, and I just really like the ritual of sitting down, even if it's just to like sit and have a cup of coffee or just kind of wake up. I always try and position it by a window, and it's just like my little spot, my little cocoon that I can go into and relax. There's so many like other individual things that feel special to me, but another space in our house that I've really fallen in love with, and like I said, I feel like there's quirks in every space that we've lived in that I've really enjoyed, but this is one quirky spot in our house that when I first moved in I was not like crazy about, and I've slowly fallen in love with it, and it's our bathroom. So this house got kind of like a mini facelift. They redid some of the stuff in the kitchen, they updated some of the like hardware to make it feel a little bit more modern, they painted, that sort of thing. Crown molding, which is really beautiful and wonderful. And then in certain spaces they just kind of left them as is because they're nice enough. And the bathroom is one of those spaces. So it's actually original to the house, or to the house from when they bought it. It's really funny because the sink is very low. That's the only thing that's kind of tough. But the sinking countertops are really low, so whenever I go to someone else's house and they have like a normal height countertop, it always feels super high. Anyway, besides the point. But what I really love is the tile, actually. So it has this green tile that was picked out. I would personally never pick out green tile. I don't know, it's just not my thing. It might be yours, but it's not my thing. It's not what I would ever pick for a bathroom, but I've absolutely fallen in love with it in this space. There's just some sort of like warmth and charm to it, and it feels really like bright without being overwhelming, and it's still kind of a calming color, I guess. And I've never been someone who's particularly loved green. I usually gravitate towards blues, but I just, for whatever reason, really love this deep green tile. And then we also have kind of like a sage green in the shower, which again is not something I would have ever picked out, but it feels so homey and so cozy. And now I think like, gosh, if I ever had the opportunity to like redesign a bathroom, like I'd love to incorporate some of that green back into it, just because I've totally fallen in love with it. So those are all of the little spaces and quirks of the house that we're living in currently that I wanted to share with you guys. Like I said, we're in this moment of trying to figure out our living situation, so I think it's given me pause to think about like what's good about where we are right now, what could be improved, and so I'm constantly like evaluating spaces and looking at them and thinking that way. So this was top of mind for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit something different, but like I said, I'd be really curious to hear what some of these spaces or things in your house are and all of that good stuff. So let me know down in the comments. A huge thank you guys for watching. Every time you watch one of my videos, you are supporting me directly, so that means so much and really appreciate it. If you did enjoy it and you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. I post weekly videos. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a really wonderful rest of your day or night, and I will see you all very soon. Alright guys, bye!